Welcome to ICANN TV News with me, Alfred, in Freetown. And now for our top stories. World Bank President Dr. Jim Yong Kim due to arrive in Sierra Leone tomorrow. School children in the Cambia district receive transistor radio sets. And government to clamp down on illegal structures along the Freetown Peninsula. And now for the news in detail. World Bank Group President Jim Yong Kim will arrive in Freetown tomorrow, Wednesday. His visit is to reaffirm the bank's continued support to the government in its fight against the Ebola virus. Dr. Kim will meet President Ernest Bai Koroma and top government officials, during which discussions will also center on Sierra Leone's post-Ebola needs, with particular emphasis on the bank supporting the strengthening of the healthcare system, social protection, the energy sector, and value-added agriculture projects. An organization which focuses on promoting education called Sierra Leone Book Trust, or SALBOT, has distributed over 100 transistor radio sets to school children in various communities in the Cambia district. This will enable them access the ongoing school lessons on radio, which the government initiated a couple of months ago to make up for the indefinite closure of learning institutions due to the Ebola epidemic in the country. Students living in Mambolo, Mateti, Makumbo, Rokel, Kobia, Yolon, Kasiri, Matimpe, and Makoth got the radio sets. Founder of the trust, Saliu Toure, said they decided to help based on a survey conducted which revealed that many students do not have access to radio sets. Mr. Toure praised the electronic teaching program, which also includes the use of TV, saying the whole electronic learning program has created a great deal of impact. The United Nations will soon take over the duty of paying the salaries of health workers dealing with the Ebola epidemic in Sierra Leone, Liberia, and Guinea. A press statement from the New York headquarters of the World Body points out that it will be working with authorities in the three countries to coordinate payments for thousands of all health personnel involved in the Ebola fight. The release recognizes that success in defeating Ebola was down to the men and women risking their lives every day to fight the disease. Health workers in the three countries have on a number of times gone on strike due to delay in paying their salaries. The Ebola team in Kenema, Eastern Sierra Leone, went on strike over delayed payment last month. They displayed corpses of Ebola victims around the hospital facility, an act for which they were condemned and subsequently sacked. This is ICANN TV News coming to you from Freetown. A joint press release by the Office of the National Protected Area Authority and the Justice Ministry in Freetown has threatened of extensive demolition and clearing of buildings, structures, and other activities in places described as protected areas on the entire stretch of particularly the Western Rural District, including the hilly and coastal areas. The release says the exercise will affect structures or activities of any sort in demarcated protected areas such as Lomley, Kamayama, right through to Toke, the entire Freetown Peninsula Road onto Hastings and Koso Town in the east. Structures on the Regent Grafton Jui Highway, the Aberdeen Creek, and Leicester Peak would also be targeted. The release also listed 15 areas across the country considered as national parks and protected areas, including the Cambo Hills Forests Reserve, Mamonta Mayoso Wildlife Sanctuary, Turtle Island, and the Lake Sunfon Sanctuary, all of which must be protected from hunting, fishing, logging, and other forms of human activity. Persons or entities claiming ownership or right to carry out any of the prohibited activities are to report to the Justice Ministry in Freetown with all relevant documents before the deadline of 15th of this month. Ending on a stern note, the release says the government and the National Protected Authority shall leave no stone unturned in ensuring that protected areas are properly conserved for the good of the nation. Post-conflict Sierra Leone has witnessed a surge, particularly in housing, logging, and mining activities. And now to end the news from Freetown, a recap of our top stories. World Bank President Dr. Jim Yong Kim is due to arrive in Sierra Leone tomorrow. He is expected to assure the government of the bank's continued support, especially in post-Ebola Sierra Leone. School children in the Cambia district have received over 100 transistor radio sets from the Sierra Leone Book Trust. And government is to clamp down on illegal structures along the Freetown Peninsula. And that's the end of ICANN TV News. This is me, Alfred, in Freetown.